Yes, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we are back again. It is Sunday, and you know what that means. It's the African Fighters Podcast with the Wazobia Gang. And ladies and gentlemen, I am Jabril from the African Fighters, and to my next right or left, it is King Dems Demola of the King Dems Podcast. I must add, President Israel Adesanya Fan Club. How you doing, my brother?
I'm good, bruv. Can't complain. It is snowy in London.
Yes. The weather is always horrible in the UK. So tell me something I don't know. And to his and to his right or your left, it is none other than the tycoon. He is kissing his biceps now, and Mr. Pink Lips, ladies and gentlemen, Ebuka Ogbona from London, England as well.
Hello, ladies
AKA
and
the Packet.
gentlemen. Happy New Year. We're back again. This year, we're going to be bigger and better for all of you guys. What's up?
Yes, so dear father. Yes, if you are tuning in and you have no idea what's going on here, ladies and gentlemen, this is the African Fighters Podcast. This is where we talk all things combat sports. When you are waving an African flag and we see you, we're gonna throw a light at your name. Big shout out to everyone that has been holding it down with us last year. This year we are looking to go bigger. However, speaking about African fighters in the continent of Africa. So many huge things happened in 2024. Might be a great year for some and might not be so good for someone like Demola, who is the president of Israel Adesanya fan club. But but yeah, regardless, it was all good. We're gonna be talking about a bit about who we think is the ace of 2024, which is none other than the South African Dricus Du Plessis. We'll kind of like dive into that a little bit, but I promise a deep dive. Next week, we're going to talk about the African Fighters Awards. We normally do this every year where we open the voting to the public. However, something we noticed last year was that there was a lot of bias in the sense that some people won, but clearly the person that did not win deserved it more. So it's more like a popularity contest. So we think this year we should take away the public voting and kind of like keep it in house. Um, we'll talk about the nominations and then we'll talk about who actually won what in different categories. So next week, we're going to get into that. However, this week, I feel like it's important that we talk about Dricus Du Plessis. I'm going to give you a quick rundown of the things we're going to discuss. We're going to talk about Kamaru Usman and Francis Ngannou in Lagos, a sighting there. And in case you did not see, I was hanging out with Kamaru Usman in Lagos last week. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. I'm sure Dems and Ibuka are curious about what my experience is and what is it that I'm
Yeah.
talking to Usman about? The
I was
ultimate question.
wondering. I was wondering. I was like,
I
when
have
did
an
this guy
idea.
become friends with Usman? I'm like, what's happening right
Yeah.
here, bro?
I have an idea what you guys
And
were
you know when
talking
I
about.
posted when I posted the appreciation of Usman and then he did repost, I was like, what? Who's
Yeah,
reposting my
yeah.
stories? And then I saw that Jibril actually told Usman, oh, see my guy, he posted you. Okay, that's cool.
Yeah,
Thumbs
yeah,
up.
yeah. Yeah, we'll talk about our brother, a friend of the show, Themba Gorimbo. All right, Themba is a man of manifestation. However, 2025, we have not heard what he plans to do, so we'll talk about that. And I think I've got one more thing I want to chat about. Yeah, we'll get into it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, please feel free to chip in the comment section. We've got Yakubu Shehu in our live chat. Big shout out to you, Yakubu. Thank you for tuning in.
Yakubu Show is actually my friend, and big shout out to him. It's his birthday today, so happy birthday, Shehu.
Oh, big man Yakubu. Happy birthday to you, my brother. I think you deserve 5 bottles of Hennessy.
He said 5 bottles of Hennessy VSOP. He said one for the DJ, one for the head man.
Yes, Yakubu, you're welcome. 5 bottles of Hennessy. Send your postcode. It's coming down your way. All right, guys. Dricus still knocks Du Plessis. Dricus took the UFC by storm. storm in 2024. Dricus fought twice. One in January in UFC 297 in Canada, where he defeated Sean Strickland after Sean Strickland obviously took the title away from Easy and did well. And next he fought Israel Adesanya, and with Adesanya he defended his UFC middleweight title, which had not been defended over a year because there was at a point in the UFC there were sort of like a hot potato situation with the middleweight title. Yeah, I want to list the things. Somebody is distracting me here. Well, I'm not going to. The devil is a liar, they say.
Whoa.
Anyways, yes, Dricus Du Plessis, he defeated Sean Strickland and then he defeated Israel Adesanya all in 2024. You know, I'm gonna close my WhatsApp so I stop seeing some things. So, God, yeah, big shout out to Yakubu. Yakubu, to celebrate your birthday properly, please do drop a super chat. It would be appreciated. Thank you very much. All right, Dricus Du Plessis. I am very sorry for our South Africans. I am getting a bit distracted. So I'm back in your life again now. So Dricus Du Plessis defeated Sean Strickland and defeated Israel Adesanya. Another keynote of things that happened to Dricus this year. Dricus drew the highest number of viewership on DSTV on SuperSport in South Africa for watching a UFC fight, both for his fight against Strickland, the title fight, and also the title defense against Easy. Together, it was almost 1 million views for SuperSport, which is something that they've never seen before. Also, he had
who drew the views? Was it Dricus or Adesanya in the second fight?
Oga,
We know
Oga,
Adesanya is the pay-per-view king of the UFC aside from Conor McGregor. We know.
I'm gonna throw to you guys, right? What part of Dricus's career this year was your favorite, right? I've got my personal favorite, but I'll get to it, right? So this year as well, Dricus accrued over 100,000 followership or followers on social media, right? So he grew in popularity. Number one, his build up to Sean Strickland and his build up to Easy was very, very entertaining this year. And that brings me to my next point. My next point is Dricus was the first fighter to make alpha males cry. In January, he made Sean Strickland cry. Sean Strickland that we thought is like, he's got that brute. I'm a dog. I'm a Trump. Whatever. Is he a leftist or rightist? That thing that Americans like talking about, right?
His right wing.
Yeah. He made Sean Strickland cry. And then fast forward to August, he made your boy cry, Demola. He made Easy cry. Easy was weeping in tears. At that point, I really didn't understand what Easy was on about. Maybe in hindsight, if you look back, you probably will think, is Easy thinking, actually, this guy might actually beat me?
No, he was talking about his family. He was actually saying something that touched him about his family. His family had to go through a lot of struggles.
Dricus, as much as he has a persona or looks like a gentleman, he is a little weasel because he knows the buttons to push. Yeah, he is low key. He is massive, which I'm telling you is my favorite aspect of him. Because as you know, I'm a pro wrestling fan, right? I like the storylines and I like characters, right? Even though the UFC fans and the casuals have not clearly identified who Dricus actually is. Unfortunately for Dricus, I feel like all that white versus black, African white conversation has like overcrowded many other things. There is also the other narrative that is going on social media where you would see people posting videos of Dricus like fighting awkwardly, and they'll be like, how does this guy get it done? They'll put like a compilation of like his weird strikes and his takedowns and things like that, and they'll be like, how does this guy? So the casual fans are still yet to identify that thing that they would like stick their teeth on, something they'll bite on and like run with it. For example, Alex Pereira, we know what fans like. They like the fact that he knocked you
The,
out. He only
the
says
left hook. Sharp.
yeah, and then he does the bow and arrow thing. But Dricus, apart from him waving the South African flag, and he has a lot of followership from South Africa, there isn't anything yet. And I think 2025 is that year that he kind of like defines his character better. But I'm going to throw it to you, Demola, because I've been talking since. Demola, what is it about Dricus's year that you think that impressed you the most? And also, do you think he is the number one African fighter this year?
That is not an argument. That is not debatable. He's the number one African fighter this year, and of course, the most impressive thing he actually achieved this year was beating Stylebender by submission. He's the only person who's submitted easy in the whole of his MMA career, and that is a very, very big deal. So big ups to him. He's really established himself as a powerhouse, not just in African MMA, but in global MMA. So he's highly talented, and I wish him the very best. I do wish him the very best. I'm impressed with what he's been able to, achieve this year. The fight against Strickland was quite arguable. It was a close fight, but he proved the critics, wrong, that he is actually a certified bona fide champion, basically, by beating Easy.
Yeah, as you did say, it, certified, bona fide, whatever word you want to use it to qualify them. I'm rhyming. He was the first person to kind of like defend that title after a very long time of the title not
The
staying with
hot
one hand.
potato.
Yeah. So the fact that he brought some sanity back into that division does scream a lot. And if you look at the pecking order of the UFC in many ways is not as hot of a product as it used to be a couple of years ago.
That's subjective.
Well, it's not a subjective thing, it's facts. The numbers have stagnated for a while.
Is it in terms of
Initially,
the views?
I'm talking about like the superstar attraction. If you look at money wise, they are doing good money wise because again, TV
Way
is going
better.
down.
They keep
TV
breaking
is going
records.
down, and then there are some sort of live sports that people actually care about. It's sort of similar thing in pro wrestling. The popularity is not as much, but they are making the most money they've ever made in their life. So it's sort of that thing. However, there is only a few fighters now that would walk on a street and people recognize them. The brand is bigger than the fighters now. Does that make sense?
And that is what it is meant to be. That is what it is meant to be, bro.
Why I'm saying this is why I'm saying this,
build strong institutions, not necessarily strong individuals, because
so why I'm saying this is like there was a time that Conor McGregor grew bigger than the sport. Well, he is still bigger. I don't know at this point.
He's not bigger than the UFC. He's not bigger than the UFC.
Yeah, there was a time that you knew that Conor was the reason why the sport got to where it was, right? But since then, we've seen them Francis Ngannou, we've seen them John Joneses, them Israel Adesanyas, right?
Sean O'Malley.
Come on, Sean O'Malley. So here's the thing. I was going to make the point I was going to land at is Dricus is at least in the top 3 of the biggest stars they have right now that is actually a champion. If you look at it, apart from Alex Pereira and John Jones, who is a bigger star than Dricus as a champion?
Right now, wow. I would say Valentina Shevchenko.
Oh, man, you're high on something.
Repeat that question again. Apart from who and who?
Apart from John Jones, and Alex Pereira, who is a bigger star that is currently a UFC champion right now. Apart from, it's definitely Dricus. You want to go
Okay,
from the bottom to the top,
I'll ask you how many followers does Dricus have on Instagram? Let me
bro?
check. Let me do a real quick
Wait,
check.
Islam
Dricus has
Makhachev is not it.
666
Islam
k
Makhachev
followers,
only
right?
has the Khabib clout. Don't tell me he's a star, but go on.
But chill.
Mm-hmm.
Shevchenko has 2.7 million followers on Instagram.
Oh,
Dricus has 666k followers. So come on, who is the biggest star? Come on. Like even if Dricus doubles or triples his followership, right? He
Question
still
for you.
doesn't
Question
touch
for you.
Valentina. I
Question
know
for
you don't
you.
like I
Wait,
know you don't like
wait,
women's
wait.
MMA, right?
No, no,
But
no, 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 no,
Valentina
no,
is
no.
the
Don't do
biggest
that to me.
star.
I've got a question for you. A follow-up question for you. If
Okay, what is the
Dricus,
question, bro?
wait, Dricus versus Sean Strickland, right, in a main event, right?
Mhm.
Keep it aside. Shevchenko versus anybody. Anybody. Keep it aside. Who will draw? Which fight will draw more money?
It depends on who Shevchenko is fighting.
it's fighting. Yeah.
If
Okay,
Shevchenko is
okay,
fighting,
okay. Fine. Dricus versus Imavov, main event. Shevchenko versus whoever the contender is in their division that nobody knows. Who?
I don't think that
Grasso, fine.
question is fair. That's not
Grasso,
a fair.
Grasso,
I
Grasso.
mean,
Let's say Grasso. Let's say Grasso. Shevchenko versus Grasso. Dricus versus Imavov. Who will draw more money? The reason why I did it this way is
that
because
comparison is not fair.
clearly Dricus is the A side. I'm putting a fight together because you can argue that Dricus versus Sean Strickland, Dricus might be the B side when it comes to popularity, but I'm putting Imavov there where Dricus is clearly the A side. I'm putting Grasso there where Shevchenko is clearly the A side. Who is going to draw more?
unfortunately, Shevchenko would actually draw up more.
Oh man, you are high.
It will shock you. It will shock you. Shevchenko has
Dude,
been
you
a
are high.
champion for years. And you know something, right? There's this, misconception we have, especially in the Western world, right? We don't take account for the numbers that come from Russia, that come from Asia. These guys have numbers. Do you know where Shevchenko comes from? Kazakhstan or Kyrgyzstan. These guys have a massive
Nobody
population.
counts. Nobody
It's just like
counts the
like
numbers.
saying that
Nobody counts the
there's
numbers
this.
from. Nobody counts the numbers from Russia
Okay,
and Africa because it's
why? Are
not.
they not human beings?
They are not. They are not behind paywalls.
Are they
No,
less
no,
of
no, no, no,
human beings
no,
than
no.
Americans?
They are not behind paywalls. Like the pay-per-view model is you pay literally to actually watch a broadcast. But in Africa,
Exactly.
if you have a super sport package, you just watch it for free. You're not paying extra. So Russia, the same thing. Whoever the broadcast partners are, they would watch it. So nobody cares about that number. That number is it's not, it doesn't matter at all. What
It's
matters
regular.
is the amount of people that care to actually buy pay-per-view to watch the fight. And my question still stands. In a Grasso fight and a Shevchenko and Grasso main event, and a Strong Strickland and Imavov main event,
So who's going to
who
do
would have more
pay-per-view?
pay-per-view buys? Who
It
would the
does depends on
casuals care to see?
it depends. So the thing is, there are a lot of moving variables here, right? So sometimes people come for the co-main event. So the co-main event is also a factor as well, right? So just like your UFC 300, the co-main event was the girls, right? And then the fight before the co-main event was Gaethje versus what's his name, Holloway, right? Do you know? Yeah, Holloway Gaethje. Do you know that a lot of people, right, bought UFC 300 not because of the main event, but because of Gaethje Holloway? How about that?
Myself included. That pay-per-view, I was only interested in that
Dude,
fight and Sadiq's fight.
That is interesting. So the thing is,
I thought you said you
it
bought.
is not so easy
I'll never buy.
isolating. So there we go, right? It's actually not very easy isolating, right, the performance of a card, right, based on just the main event.
I don't understand you people's arguments here. First of all, we all know the bias of people. Most people.
We know his bias.
When it comes to female,
He doesn't like women MMA.
Yeah, when it comes to females fighting,
and the women are coming for you, bro.
Some
The
people
women are
think
coming for you.
some people think, females shouldn't be fighting or shouldn't be sort of
Hey,
hyping that.
I
So,
beg. I'm not one of those
Amanda
people.
Nunes. Amanda Nunes did
I
beat
didn't
numbers
mention your
for
name.
pay-per-view.
I said some
What's her
people.
name again? What's this girl? Ronda Rousey. She
Rousey,
did
yeah.
good numbers for
Hmm.
pay-per-view. So
Yeah, there has
don't
been
think
Ronda
the women
Rousey,
cannot
Ronda
sell.
Rousey is the last box office in the history of MMA. Nobody has been close. Even Amanda Nunes, the
yeah.
GOAT, as they like to call her, bro, she was.
Didn't have
If you
that
see, pull
number.
the numbers. It was embarrassing when they actually. I think they only put her in a main event twice. Pull the numbers. It was embarrassing numbers. Even Leon Edwards did better. Come on.
Hmm.
I don't want to believe so. Leon Edwards, come on.
Leon Edwards versus Bilal Mohammed did better.
Headshot, dead.
Come
But for
on.
real, Ebuka, I'm going to ask you. Let's not get sidetracked about Dricus Du Plessis. What was the most impressive about Dricus this year for you, in your opinion?
I mean, the guy is good. Dricus is good. I think he was underrated a bit. He's just like Bilal Muhammad. He's that kind of fighter that can adapt. So you wouldn't say, oh, he's an out and out striker or a grappler or a wrestler. He doesn't have a specific style of fighting. He's dynamic. He changes. He switches up his. One thing about him that I find incredible is he always fights like he doesn't have any strength or he's gonna give up the next minute, but still he's in the fight all the time. So he's a good fighter. When it comes to UFC, you can say yes, the UFC in Africa. You guys were saying maybe the best fighter in Africa. For me, maybe I would say Francis, based on what he has had to go through, and based on the giant he had to beat. But that's not a discussion. In the UFC, yes, but overall, I'll still give it to Francis.
Francis Ngannou.
Um, yes, to Francis, yes. I think so. I think he did. But yeah, about Dricus, he's a really really good fighter. I really rate him.
Yo,
You know,
you. To be honest, I don't. I would not agree with Francis Ngannou being the best, not the best, like
PFL.
having the
PFL.
best year,
no, what are you guys talking
because
about?
I
It
would
doesn't matter.
rather I would even put Umar Rogrog Khan in front of
Ah,
Francis Ngannou
well,
for
for you,
what
ah,
Rogrog
you
This,
for
you
what
this,
don't come
Rogrog
this
had
guy
done
again.
is
this
like
year.
this guy
Ah,
does not rate the
Jibril,
PFL at all.
don't come
He does
again. Which
he
kind of talk
doesn't
with that
believe the
one?
Wait,
PFL should be in
wait.
business. He believes
While
the
we are
PFL
still,
should close shop. If you left it to this guy, he's
No,
just gonna
I
close.
don't
He's
agree
gonna
with that.
liquidate the whole of the
So are you trying to
PFL.
no,
say that?
PFL
Are,
annoys the heck out of me.
are you
But
trying to say that
go on.
Ferreira? Are you guys trying to say that? Jibril, are you trying to say that Ferreira will not beat some top UFC heavyweights? Is
He
that
will
what you're
beat
trying to say?
some top, same way as Rogrog will beat some top UFC heavyweights.
Which ones? Which
Okay.
ones?
He will, he will beat. He will, what do you think will happen when Rogrog fights Mohammed Usman?
Is he a top? He's not even in the top 15.
He's not.
Are you
Mohammed is not
joking?
ranked.
It will be actually the interesting matchup because both of them don't have long reach. They are very stocky. I would actually want to see that fight. But
Let him
Usman,
somebody
fight
like
your
Kennedy is
boy Kennedy.
Usman is
Kennedy.
bigger.
We
Exactly.
pick Rogrog apart. Eh?
Uh-huh.
Anyway, let's get back on track, right? Since we are still on the topic of Dricus and he is going to fight in the main event in the next pay-per-view, I believe in Melbourne,
Hmm.
Dricus versus Strickland 2. I want to take your opinions about how you see that fight going, what your predictions are going to be. I'm going to go with Ebuka first. Is it something that
Hmm.
you've studied enough, or you have enough evidence to like go by what your instinct is saying with regards to how that fight will go?
You mean Strickland versus this guy, Dracos?
Dracos too. Mm.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, there has been some context in terms of people have been saying Dracos didn't win that fight like very cleanly, and it wasn't a decisive win, which is why we're having this rematch now. So, I mean, we know Sean is a good fighter. He comes to fight, he brings everything. But personally, I think Dracos is a better fighter than him. I think Dracus is more well-rounded. So I think this time, given the time that they're having the chance of having a full camp, getting ready. They have all the time to prepare for this one. I think Dricus is the better fighter, so I think Dricus will win this one. Yeah, I think Dricus doesn't finish a lot of fights, but
Eh?
I think he would win. I don't know if he's
Dricus
gonna.
doesn't finish a lot of fights.
Well,
He
I know he
has
finished easy,
he
but
has only won one fight by decision. All his
Robert
victories have
Whittaker,
been
oh, okay. Well, my
Darren
bad.
Till.
he
Oh,
only has
right,
one
right.
decision victory. All his
Okay,
victory in his entire
okay,
life
okay.
has been by
I,
any means necessary.
I scratch that. I take that back. So I think he will win. I win this time. Before he won't go to the judges this time. I don't think he will go to the
So you
judges this
think
time.
you predict a finish for Dricus
Yeah,
against Sean Strickland?
yeah. I think he will
And
get a
Damola
finish.
Yunko, how do you see this fight going? And I know obviously you'll be watching this fight with an inkling about Israel Adesanya. It's actually a good thing that Riyadh season is happening first, right? Because we
Mm,
know if Easy beats Imavov, he's gonna be like in that arena. I don't know if that's what he wants. He's gonna be waiting to fight whoever wins. And in my
yeah.
opinion, I feel like the favorable fight for Easy is to fight Strickland. Because Strickland, we know that he's not going to wrestle. We know that they are going to strike. And maybe
Mm,
Easy would have learned from his previous fight because I know Dracos is a much more difficult fight for Easy. However, with that being said, I'm just saying if I was looking at it from an Israel point of view, I would probably want to beat Imavov and then go and watch Dracos lose to Strickland. Then I fight Strickland and become a 3-time champion. But what do you think, Demola?
Ah, so in that first fight, I was actually very biased because I did, put a lot of money on Dricus and he did come through, right? But like Ebuka said, Dricus is quite well-rounded, and a lot of people usually think Dricus is tired or is fighting tired. Actually, he does have a problem with his nose, and he did a surgery to try to fix that, right? So he is always breathing heavy, but he's actually not as tired as he looks, right? So that to clear that. So to be very honest, I think it's a 50-50 matchup. I saw that fight again, and I know I see the reason why some people thought Strickland won that fight, right? Because it came down to round 5. And Dricus acted like he wanted it more. But to beat the champion, to be the champion, you have to beat the champion. So
Decisively.
me being honest, right? Me being neutral, me being independent, I think Strickland, being the defending champion, should have actually been awarded that fight because it was quite close. It was quite close. And heading into the next fight, the truth is Strickland is highly experienced. This guy's been in the UFC before. Easy before he fought Kamaru Usman back in the day. He was a welterweight,
that's
right?
what.
So I think with the wealth of his experience, I'm not gonna lie, it's just 50-50. It's just the best man on the night that is gonna win. But the favorable matchup would be, Strickland beating Dricus and having a rematch with Easy. I don't
Right.
have a
I
winner. It's 50-50.
I agree with you. If you're watching it from a fan of an easy point of view, you'd obviously want Strickland to win because that's another path for. Because trust me, we've heard it from Dracos's coach. We've heard it from Dracos himself. They want
They want
that
more
Adesanya
money.
fight
Come
again
on.
because
I
they
didn't say
want to collect. They want to collect
come
that
on.
pay per view money now. Because like the last
That's
fight
the
he fought
money
easy.
fight.
That's the biggest money Dracos ever made because like that's the first time he's actually collecting pay-per-view points that is significant. And if he
Mhm.
gets to fight easy again, that's life-changing money again. So I'm sure he would absolutely want that. However,
Yeah,
the build-up would not be as exciting as the previous build-up.
Who told you so?
Anyways,
it depends on how
anyways,
easy comes out against Imavov because he needs to win
yeah,
that fight against Imavov.
I think Easy
So
yeah.
will finish him above.
which I think he will. I think he will win that one. Although that guy is dangerous. That guy is not. That guy is not.
You
Easy,
know, my
Easy is gonna
problem,
finish
my
that guy.
problem, my
That guy
problem
is
with
not an
Easy
easy fight.
now is the chin.
Confidence.
The chin is not what it used to be. That's the issue. Like he can, like against Dracos, he was doing better. If they had gone to the 5th round, he probably would have won that
Yeah,
fight, right?
yeah, true.
And just a punch, a strike that did not appear to have landed very clean. right? Something that we've seen Easy survive a while ago,
Yeah.
right? He couldn't survive it. So now against Imavov, now in my head, that will be in my head the whole time. Even when they get to the fifth round, I'll be thinking he's just one shot away from getting clipped, and then everything will just scatter. But anyways, he knows better than I do. We'll be here for it. And unfortunately, we would not be going to Saudi because you guys are P words. All right. Um,
We'll
moving
sponsor
on.
you. Go
Moving
fund me.
on.
Go fund me in the
Moving
comment
on.
section, please. Let's take
Go.
Jibril to Saudi Arabia.
Yes, take me to Saudi. Take me to Saudi like God took me to Lagos last week. Speaking about Lagos, what a way to segue. Last week was African Knockout 7, AKO 7, emanating from Lagos, Nigeria, in Landmark Event Center. Yeah, boy, me was a host, not a host. I was interviewing fighters in the cage, right? And then
The
once it
The
led
Joe
to
Jorogan
another,
Rogan. The,
of
the
Africa.
Joe Rogan of AKO.
Yes.
once it led to another, I was sat next to Kamaru Usman, and we were just chopping it up. We were gisting. These boys were asking me, what is it that me and Usman were talking about? Right? All right. I'm going to tell you what me and Usman were talking about. It's very boring. Me and Usman were just talking about fights and the fights we were seeing. And we were talking about both all the fighters that were fighting in front of us, what their weaknesses are, or maybe if there's a takedown that happened, I'll ask him like, how do you think what is he supposed to do to get out from this position? And Usman is very, very knowledgeable. Obviously, he's been a champion. There was a point where I was watching a fight by Yahuza and some other guy, Olawale or something. And Yahuza is a grappler. So the only thing he's trying to do is to take down his opponent. And his opponent is supposed to be a striker. However, the opponent was just switching stance, front and back, front and back. And Usman says, for you to avoid takedowns, you are supposed to move side by side. You
Lateral
understand?
movement.
Not,
Yeah.
yeah,
Lateral
lateral
movement.
movement.
Not.
But the Olawale guy, he would have more success when he's standing, but he's not moving side by side. And then he's like, you see, he switched his stance, and then he will switch it again. He said he switched his stance, right? And then he's like, just give him a second, he will switch again, and then he switched it back again. That's the only thing he was trying to do to avoid the takedowns. And I was like, oh wow, I never really looked at it from that perspective. So those were the interesting conversations we were having. Hence why when I posted in my story, I said, learning from the goats, if that makes sense. And then he was also giving me pointers, like when I get in there and I interview a fighter and I come back, he'd be like, you probably should have started like this and ended like this. I could see that that fighter was not giving you what you wanted, but you have to like get it done ASAP without wasting time. Da, 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 da. He was giving me pointers. I come back, he'll be telling me things to like improve on the next one. I come back, he'll be like, that's a good one. Oh yes, that's a good one. That's a good one. So yeah, to have I answered all your questions now about, you know what?
I
I
have
think
one
I'm going to
question.
do.
He has a question.
So when when
Yeah,
when are we going to have him on? Join us live.
I told him about us, right? I
Hmm.
told Usman about us, but he answered like, yeah, yeah, it's all right, but he didn't sound convincing.
Hmm.
If so, he didn't sound convincing.
Smart.
I was not very. I didn't feel the optimism. Oh boy, see English. It wasn't very optimistic with way his response was, if that makes sense. So I'm not going to hold my breath on that one. I'll shoot a DM again. Demola, have you shot a DM after that repost?
I will shoot a DM.
Yeah, you
Uh,
probably should shoot a DM them.
okay, let's try. Let's shoot our shots.
Yeah. So as I was telling you, the experience of a live MMA show, the crowd in there, watching a fight cage side, just so you can know the questions to ask. So many times when I get in the cage, before I start asking the questions, before I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm with the winner. I try to use a deep voice because normally my voice is high pitched. So I go, ladies and gentlemen, I'm with the winner. At that point, I don't necessarily have the questions at heart. I just want to start You know what? I'm just gonna share my screen so you would see what it looked like. All right. For our audio listeners, I am broadcasting in showing what the fight interviews look like and why these fellas were calling me a Joe Rogan. Anyway, so AK07 was an interesting one. Had so much fun in Lagos, as you know. It's dirty December season. Um, did what I like to do, which is watch fights. Had a incredible opportunity to sit by one of the legends and actually talk to him. So I would say it's a great experience. I would like to make a video, like a deep dive about AK07 and my experiences about it. I think I'll make like a YouTube video, one of those clickbaity type of videos, those sort of videos where I'll probably be like, wait, oh, I'll probably be like, how I met Kamaru Usman, or you know, I'll post a video of like me and Usman talking,
Mm-hmm.
and then put that soundtrack that goes, oh, ladies and gentlemen, that's me. How did we get here? Or there's a sound like that goes like, this is how we got here. Anyways, I'm gonna move on. I want to move on. We are already clocking half an hour here on the African Fighters podcast. Please, if you're watching us, please do hit the like button. We really appreciate it. It's very free. You would not be charged. It's free of charge. Hit the like button. And if you have not subscribed, please do so. We really appreciate it. Thank you. Ooh la la. God. Oh.
What is the problem?
See how they look around. They just want to way my eyes see. Anyways, Jesus Christ. All right, moving on. God.
You'll
Shall
be
we
able
talk
to way
about
I
Themba?
see mouth they talk.
Yeah, shall
My
we talk
brother,
about Themba Gorimbo?
I tell
Shall we talk about Themba Gorimbo?
My brother from Zimbabwe.
All right, Themba is we've not heard from Themba this year. Me personally haven't spoken to him, but I'm sure Dems has, because Dems do speak to Themba quite regularly.
We were chatting earlier today, actually.
Yeah, I would love if Themba was in the audience. It would have been nice in the live chat. It would be nice to hear from him what his manifestations are of 2024, 2025. However, I'm gonna throw this one to you, Dems. What thing you think say make Themba do this 2025?
Okay, 2025. I think he should, have some rest. Let the body heal up, and maybe towards the middle of the year, take a tune-up fight. So I think he should fight an unranked fighter before aiming for somebody in the top 15 this year. So let's take it slow and steady wins the race.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
do agree with you. I think I believe in that same sentiment because I did say something similar, didn't
Yeah, he had the
I?
top run
Last
of the
week.
schedule last year. I
Yeah,
think he had probably like 4
yeah.
fights.
And as we know,
So,
Vicente Luque is no slouch. Ebuka, what are your thoughts about Themba, and what do you think Themba should do in 2025? What's next for Themba?
yeah, bro. I mean, I just rushed out now to see he's still 33. He's still very young in this sport. We've seen people winning titles at 42, 40, and all this. So, yeah, I mean, bro, it's a loss. What do you have to do? Like Demola said, there, take some time off. Had a lot of fights last year. Just take a little bit of rest. Maybe visit Zimbabwe, visit Africa, go and visit your native doctor back home in Zimbabwe,
and
and go
build more
and meet all
boreholes. Build more
and build
boreholes.
more boreholes. Just take some time, chill, maybe take another holiday somewhere, get back to work, get back to the gym, and yeah, take a tune-up fight. Take a fight that you can actually win, an unranked guy, and then we'll go again in the new year. And who says he can't go on another run? He can go on another run, 4 fights, 5 fights win streak, and he will get another top opener again. Um, that's how this sports. That's what this sport is about. It's about not only the wins, but also the losses. Sometimes is what makes somebody. Most of the great fighters we know have losses. So yeah, there's nothing bad about that at all. Yeah, so
Yeah,
bro, Themba, this year, let's go on another run. Let's get it. Don't forget, we need to win that belt for Africa. We need another champion from Africa. Let's go, bro.
yeah. Speaking about Africa, I think I have skipped one topic, which is on our title, which is Usman and Ngannou link up in Lagos. So one thing I was super excited about when I was going to Lagos for AK07 was the fact that I'm going to see Usman and Ngannou together. Right? Unfortunately, Ngannou did not make it for the show. However, he still came to
Oh,
Lagos. I don't know if you guys saw this, but Burna Boy posted Ngannou and Usman sat in his house and they
Yeah,
went
also
to
the
party.
champions.
yeah.
I saw
Yeah,
that.
and they went to party together where Ngannou said, Burna Boy is going to be the easy. So there will be three of them. The three kings are back. I don't know
Mm.
why they did not take that viral picture together like that. That would have been nice. But this December, bro, is like everybody was in sync to go to Lagos.
I'll tell you. Even
What
Anthony
is
Joshua
in
as
the
well.
what is in the water in Lagos that everybody went to Lagos this December? I know a lot of people that went to Lagos. You do know, yourself, you know people will go Lagos. Is plenty. When I went to Lagos, Lagos was packed. Everybody was not speaking correct English. They were speaking foreign English.
Yeah.
Everybody. Our
IJGBs.
IJGBs was everywhere. And I'm one
Wow.
of the IJGBs, but bro, it was crazy. Like our
So,
audience in
bro,
AK07, half of them were just got backs.
so come imagine say Niger make am easy for people to go, and then Niger come get leadership way they in the right direction. Everybody will go,
And
they
the
go. And all of us, if I
and
don't go now,
amenities there. If amenities there to go
yeah,
home, say maybe you
it's a
can just
lovely
go on.
place.
Say maybe the country was nice enough to get like a holiday package, like all these two we made a put holiday packages together. Lagos is a coastal place. There's so many opportunities, but however, the way the country is, this podcast is not about the negativity, guys. This
Yeah,
is about
I just thought I thought I'm
spreading
small.
the
And that's
spreading
something
the
we'll do.
positivity before we go all political on you guys. But yeah,
Goodness
Usman,
gracious.
Ngannou, and Burna Boy, it was really really nice to see. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see that. I only got to London. I got to London and then I opened my phone and then I saw shit. Usman and Burna Boy chilling, and Usman and what's his name, Francis Ngannou chilling together. That would have been
Yeah.
like
It'd
perfect
have
if I
been
was
nice to meet
if we,
Francis though. Take a picture with
yeah, I
him.
know,
I must meet
I
that
know.
guy. I must meet that guy. I must meet Francis. I love
And like
Francis, man.
one of the matchmaker of AKO did tell me that the reason why that card had 4 Cameroonians on it, and the reason why they had loads of Cameroonians on it was because of Ngannou was coming. But unfortunately, Ngannou didn't
Oh,
come, didn't make it. So
okay.
it would have been nice actually to have Ngannou there. I probably would. It probably would. If Ngannou came, I probably wouldn't be sat next to Usman. I probably would be sat next to Usman as a next to both of them as a third person, maybe. But anyways, if he was there, it would have been great.
And
Francis,
Ghana's
I'm your
Francis,
biggest
he's
fan, bro.
quite big in person. I think we
Yeah.
did see him at the press conference, Jibril,
Yeah, we saw him at the press
last year.
conference with we saw Ngannou at the press conference with AJ, and he seems to be a little bit taller than I am, but way bigger,
Oh,
and his
nice.
fist
Mm,
is almost the size of my head.
yeah. The guy is huge.
Yeah. All right,
The
fellas.
guy is
I
huge.
think this is a good place to end this pod. As I told you guys earlier, big shout out to the birthday boy. We've got Moira
Oh wow! Shout out Moira. She was on my podcast.
Ab- Aboagir. Can you please
Whoa.
pronounce that name?
Aboje.
Great. Is that a Nigerian name?
Ghanaian name.
It's
Yeah,
them. It's
that's
one of
good.
them.
Even the
Gosh,
Ghanaians them.
big shout out to my Ghanaian folks, man. Yeah, so guys, next week we would be chatting African Fighters Awards. We would be doing a deep dive, going through each category. I'm gonna make sure I share with you guys so you guys will be in the know. I'm talking about the panel here. Farouk will be involved as well, and one of our guys too will be involved. So we'll make sure we put this together properly. Thank you for tuning in. If you have uh all right, someone requested a shout out. So big shout out to my ginger, which have been uh which have been a distraction to me. But hey, life goes on, innit? Enjoy your weekend, guys. That's Ebuka on social media. I am Ebuka Tycoon and Kingdoms of the Kingdoms podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been
We out.
nice. Love, hugs, kisses, and all the good stuff.
It's
Bye.